how to manage your business numbers, and the tool I'm going to focus on today is Xero accounting software. So back in March, Xero actually purchased Hubdoc probably a couple of years ago. Hubdoc used to be a separate business. So what Hubdoc does, it has what's called OCR, built-in technology, where it gets a copy of a receipt and actually extracts all the data off that receipt. Sort of extracts things such as the amount, the supplier name, the date. And you can also set up rules in a similar way with bank rules before, where we could say, okay, every time a 7-Eleven receipt comes in, we want to code that to petrol or motor vehicle expenses. And back in March, Hubdoc used to have to pay a separate fee to access Hubdoc. I think it was something like $25 a month, but now Xero has actually bought it inside Xero itself. And if you've got a business subscription of Xero, it's actually free, so you don't actually have to pay for Hubdoc. It's now included in your Xero subscription. For people who are not using Xero, Hubdoc also works with MyOb and QuickBooks Online as well, but you'll have to pay to access Hubdoc. Personally, there's a lot of products out there that do what Hubdoc does. I don't think what Hubdoc is one of the better ones. I think there are better products out there than Hubdoc, but you'll have to pay to access those. I personally recommend Receipt Bank because the quality of extractions of Receipt Bank are a lot better than what you get out of Hubdoc. But look, with Hubdoc, the quality of the extractions, sometimes you might require some manual intervention to go through, like you might have to correct something and then push it through to Xero, where Receipt Bank tends to, you're not required to make any adjustments, it just goes straight through. Hubdoc is good, it will still save you a lot of time. It's better than not having anything, and the fact that it's free and a part of Xero, I think that's quite a good thing. So that could well suit a lot of people rather than paying extra for Receipt Bank if they don't have a huge amount of receipts that they need to manage. So 3 different ways you can do it. There's an app on your phone where you take a photograph of the receipt. There's also an email address. You can have your own email address where you forward an email to that email address and it goes straight into your Hubdoc account. I'll show you that in a second. Or you can also just upload it via a desktop. It's very similar to uploading a email attachment. So if you go down to you see here how it's got Hubdoc. I won't click on it now to go somewhere totally I don't want it to go, but for everyone else, you can click on Hubdoc. If you haven't already set it up, it will invite you to set up Hubdoc and go through a few screens, and that's how you get through to it. So I'll show you Hubdoc quickly now. So this is what Hubdoc looks like. I say here we want to upload a document. You set up your own email address. So say, for example, I get an invoice via email in PDF format or JPEG format. I can just forward it to this email address here and it'll end up in Hubdoc. Or alternatively, there's an app through the App Store, on Android or Apple. You can just take a photo of the receipt and end up here. Or if you've got something stored on your computer, you can actually browse and upload it through here as well. What Hubdoc also has as well is what is called auto fetch. So this actually saves you from taking a photo of a receipt or uploading it up. So for the major companies such as Bunnings or Telstra or Xero or Woolworths, if you set something up through here, you log into your Telstra details and click Add Account. What Hubdoc does is, every time Telstra issues a bill, it automatically talks to Telstra and fetches that bill. This is all included. This is actually, I'm in Hubdoc now, so this is actually Hubdoc. So for people with business level subscriptions in Xero, this is all included in their monthly Xero fee. They don't have to pay extra for it. Mm-hmm. The only people who would have to pay is the people who are on what's called a cash book subscription, which they get through their accountant or bookkeeper, which is like a $10 or $20 a month Xero package where there's no invoicing, it's just cash transactions. So those people would have to pay, I think it's around $20, $25 a month. But for everyone else, this is free. And for those that are on MyOb or QuickBooks, this also talks to a lot of other accounting packages as well. So you're not left out in the cold. You just have to pay to actually access this. But For all the Xero people, you don't have to pay for this at all. So what happens is when you take a photo of it or you upload it or it fetches from someone, this is the image. This is what the image looks like. It shows up in here. So if I was to click on here to edit document, you see how it's extracted all this. I haven't entered any data here, so it's extracted the date, the due date, the amount. It hasn't quite picked up the... Yeah, that's my bit... This is a bit of my bugbear to do with Hubdoc. It doesn't always pick up things as well as it should. It takes a bit of work to set up, where others will pick this up a lot better. But Hubdoc takes a bit of time. Once you put a bill through a few times, it eventually gets the hang of it. It can be... It's to keep copies of paperwork, because otherwise it's bringing in a transaction. What this actually provides is actually a copy of the paperwork. It's a source document. So otherwise, if you didn't use something like this, you would have to store a copy of this elsewhere in a filing cabinet or a shoebox. So what this does, and this attaches a copy of the receipt to the transaction, and it also automates the processing as well. Like, even though you're getting bank transactions from MyOb or Xero, you still have to do something. You still have to code them, actually process them and put them somewhere, or set up a bank rule. But with this, if it's set up well enough, the data is automatically extracted without you having to actually enter anything in, and this turns into Xero or MyOb accounting data. So it's actually automatically turning, a bit of paper into accounting data without you having to physically enter into information in. So I've got Hubdoc here talking to Xero. So here you might notice these things. This is exactly what it looks like in Xero, how you've got your publisher's purchase or your spend money. So what a purchase is essentially a bill which you're going to pay later on. So an invoice that you get where you've got time to pay, I would always process it as a purchase. But if you've just got a receipt from Bunnings which you've already paid via credit card, then you just put spend money. So the status is awaiting payment. You can choose which contact in Xero you put it into. So if you select Telstra, you can choose the region, and you just go monthly mobile account, and then you would click on publish. So you would only need, so all this information I've just keyed in here, I'm just doing it once because it's the first time we're seeing the receipt. Where it's got tick the box save configuration, every time, so going forward, every time we get a Telstra invoice, it will not only pick up this, it will automatically put it through to all this. So, and all you'll have to do is go publish, or if you're really confident that it all works the way it should work, then if you click on auto sync, the minute it'll automatically go straight through to Xero in this format. So the minute you take a photo of an invoice or auto fetch it, Hubdoc will just go, right, we know what to do. We've extracted the data, we'll just push it straight through to Xero, and it'll show up in Xero as accounting data. As I mentioned before, some products are better than others. Hubdoc is reasonably good. But there are other better products out there. The quality of extractions I find with Hubdoc aren't perfect. Sometimes you might have to, manually fix something up, or it mightn't pick something up. But with others, such as Receipt Bank, it'll pick a lot of those things up straight away. But Hubdoc is still pretty good value. It's free as part of your Xero subscription. So look, as long as you're aware of its limitations, that it's not perfect, that you'd still need to check things at the other end, it'll be perfectly fine.